So when you become business friendly in these ways, and you start to advertise it because you are making these reforms, then all of a sudden small business begins to increase a little bit and bigger business takes another look. And I think that there will be a lot of regional offices of large corporations and certainly a lot of headquarters of large corporations that will consider moving to DC like Northrop Grumman did. And if we are attractive, then we're going to bring those people in here ourselves.
Right.
And that's what we should be aiming to do. We shouldn't be dependent on every one of our people working for the federal government or the state government. It just doesn't work in the end.
Right, and I think we saw a huge hit. I mean, when you're talking about people being employed, I mean, just as a perfect example, the census workers that were just all, completed their tenure. It shows that these government jobs are real nice and they're real great to have, but there is a possibility they could disappear someday.
Yeah, the census workers are going to be gone.
Right, exactly.
Pretty shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about some of the other issues that are really pressing here in Maryland. I know across the country a big one is clean energy. We're talking about natural resources and things of that nature. What are your thoughts on Maryland's situation with energy?
Well, one thing that is good is we do have a lot of natural gas up in the mountains, and we're looking to, I've forgotten the name of that whole area that covers from New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, goes down into Virginia and Kentucky, but it's just a huge natural gas area that we're going to benefit from. As far as clean energy goes, Maryland is very lucky because our air blows off into the ocean very, very, very quickly. Some of our clean energy projects that come under the clean energy guise have been mistaken, I think.
Okay.
I think it was in 2007, the legislature voted to only sell new cars that had California car environmental standards. But California is a different state. Its air gets trapped by the Rocky Mountains. Maryland's air does not. It blows off. To me, it just didn't make sense to have all of our people, if they buy a new car beginning in 2011, they're probably going to spend $3,000 to $6,000 more for that car, just because they're conforming to California standards.
Right.
And California air is not our air. So there are some things that sometimes laws are well intended, but there are mistakes.
Right.
And this was a mistake. And here again is where I would have voted differently than the incumbent.
Okay. Now another, I know, big hot button issue, at least in the last couple months, has been immigration. We talked a little bit a few weeks ago to Dutch Ruppersberger about immigration and how Arizona has a certain set of laws that are going into effect that a lot of people don't agree with. I mean, what are your thoughts on the immigration situation, not only here in Maryland but also nationally?
Well, we know that Maryland is a sanctuary state.
Right.
In January, an organization called FAIR, I'm not sure what the acronym stands for, but it's in DC, estimated that Maryland spends $1.4 billion a year on illegal immigrants, and that includes jail time, hospitals, free hospital services, education, and so forth. So it's costly to us to be a sanctuary state for illegal aliens. I favored the Arizona law. I would vote for an Arizona law here in Maryland if I were in the legislature. I don't think it's good to have people coming here. I understand why they're coming here.
Right.
But I don't think it's good to have people coming here that don't really have the same kind of allegiance to this country to become Americans in the same way.
Right.
I want people to come here because they want to be Americans, that they want to take advantage of it the way, our parents and grandparents and all of those people that came early on.
So you want you want the immigrants to be coming in. You just want them to be
immigrants.
doing it properly.
We need it done properly. Yes.
Okay. We're running out of time quickly, but I got two last questions for you.
Sure.
First off, looking back on your life up until this point, what do you consider one of your biggest accomplishments?
Oh my, I didn't know you were going to ask a question like that.
I like to throw the curveballs in there every once in a while.
Perhaps it's making a decision to run for office.
Okay.
This is one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in a certain sense, although it's also a lot of fun.
Right.
It's very gratifying.
Right.
And this year, when people are so concerned, it's wonderful to hear people agree. You know, I feel as though I'm on the same page with most of the people I talk with when I knock on doors.
Okay.
And I'm knocking on doors twice a day or waving in traffic.
Okay.
I try to do that 4 days a week.
Okay.
At different points.
Okay. Now, the last question I've got for you is kind of the reverse of that. You know, we talk about what your greatest accomplishment of the past is. What is your biggest hope if you are elected for District 8 here in Maryland?
My biggest hope is that the biggest issue of our time will be solved. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have jobs where people of almost any skill level can get a job, and not only that, they'll see that they can advance, mm-hmm. And they'll be able to train themselves and move into other jobs. I mean, it seems to me that that's the American way. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that everybody here wants their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, to be able to have those advantages. And they would probably rather have them here than in some other state.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like a lot of our residents would rather see friends and family staying here due to financial prosperity, you know, than having to go elsewhere for the same benefits. So, well, Dee Hodges, thank you very much for coming out today.
Thank you. Have
now,
a great
if
time.
anybody would like some more information on your campaign, some of our residents are computer savvy, so you do have a website, correct?
Yes. It's, let's see, what is my website?
So much to remember.
It's www.deehodges2010 at deehodges2010.com.
Okay.
So D is spelled D-E-E.
Okay. Pretty easy there.
And I have an email too.
Okay. And what's that?
D-E-E at deehodges2010.com.
Excellent. And all that information, your email address is available on your website as well.
Right.
As well as phone numbers, just in case some of our residents who may not be computer savvy. What's a phone number where they can get a hold of you as well?
410.
Uh-huh.
It's right here on the card.
There we go. I got it. It's 410-668-1434 if you are looking for more information on hopeful state senator in District 8, Dee Hodges.
And that rings in my home. I answer it.
There you go. Look at that. You got a direct line right now to Dee Hodges. So, well, Dee, once again, thank you very much for coming out.